What's going on, everybody? It's another beautiful day. You are watching Hot 97 News, a brand new live news show where we talk about all the biggest stories across the country. It is Thursday, February 5th, and I'm your host, Lana Harris, here with Rondell with 2 N's and Million.
Hey.
And it is still Black History Month, people.
Yeah. Amen, brother. Amen.
So here is Rondell with 2 N's with your 1 minute of Black excellence.
Here today, 1 minute of Black excellence. And today, in 1963, Wendell Scott became the first Black driver to win a top-level NASCAR race. And officials were so unprepared for a Black winner, they gave the trophy to a wrong driver, a white man, and quietly mailed Wendell his trophy. Now, that's not a trophy presentation. That's an Amazon Prime segregation edition. You know what I mean? So here's the thing. Shout out to Wendell Scott, the only man to win a NASCAR race and get the trophy on a payment plan. All right? So Wendell Scott, you got a trophy in our book, baby, and that's been 1 minute of Black excellence.
Amen, brother. Amen. Power to the people.
Power
to the people. That's crazy that they gave it to somebody else.
Gave it to somebody, totally the whole nother person.
Hey, so wait a minute.
Yeah. They say, and the winner is Wendell Scott. Wendell Scott. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on now. Yeah, and that just goes to show you, though, Million. Yet again, we are good at something other than basketball and football.
Listen,
Amen.
Look.
Amen.
Listen, I will say, I had to double check a couple times, make sure he was Black. I thought my eyes were playing a little trick on me.
So here's the thing, man. Black people, we come in all different shades and colors, you know what I mean? He just got a little melanated deficiency, you know what I mean? But he's still with a name like Wendell. Right. Oh, that's a Black man.
Right.
Last name what? Scott. Yep.
So right. Old.
That's it right there.
One of them old Black names too. Wendell. Come on, Wendell.
Okay, well, hopping into the news, border czar Tom Homeman finally done brought some order and peace back to Minnesota. He said yesterday that hundreds of agents were leaving immediately. Here's a piece from what he said.
I have announced effective immediately. We will draw down 700 people effective today. During my press conference last week, I announced that moving forward, ICE will be conducting targeted immigration enforcement operations, like ICE has traditionally done for decades, based on reasonable suspicion to question and detain.
Nice.
So it seems like all those people who are saying this is looking a little sus, nobody's ever done immigration enforcement like this before and we don't like it, kind of had a point. He's saying, we've been doing immigration enforcement, so we're going to go back to the way we were doing it before, which was targeted. So we'll break all this down, as we talk about this. But basically, he did a press conference yesterday, and he said, I do this. I've been doing this. He was talking with a couple of guys who were on stage with him, and they said, between the three of them, they had just shy of 100 years of law enforcement and immigration enforcement behind them. So he is really the big dog when it comes to this stuff. And he said that he's talked to the governor, the mayor, and a lot of other people out there in Minnesota. And they now have an unprecedented amount of counties communicating with them about illegal immigrants in the jails. So now ICE can just come in and take them into custody right there in the jail before they hit the street.
Right.
Which is smart.
I mean...
This is like a really good replacement for Greg Bovino. Like I'm so glad they went in there and got that trench coat wearing. I'll call him a trench coat wearer. I'm so glad they got him up out of there and put this guy in here because Homeman, he has an extensive history in law enforcement. He served as a police officer in the 80s at one point in time. So he knows how to do these procedures and hopefully it trickles down to the other ICE agents out there.
Yeah. Because to your point, the whole time you've been saying, and people who like you have been saying, we want immigration enforcement, but this is not the way. And so what Tom Homeman said was that basically the way that they're doing it now is more efficient. It requires 1 or 2 officers to take these people into custody instead of 8 to 10 out in these streets trying to do it. It frees up more officers to remove more people. So the target list is decreasing and they just don't need all the people out there anymore. So 700 of them can leave. That's CBP and ICE, Border Patrol agents and ICE agents who are all going to be leaving.
Yeah.
Now, I wonder if they're going to locate them to other cities now, because, Atlanta was getting, stuff like that. So I'm like, are they going to just take those ICE agents out of Minneapolis and just go, all right, well, now we got to disperse these 700 people to other cities now and go, regulate the illegal immigrants in these other cities? Or is it just like, hey, all of y'all are cut, no more jobs, 700 fired.
Yeah, no, he actually mentioned that some of these agents are from New York or LA, and they have problems in those cities as well, so that they could go back to where they're from and just start doing illegal immigration enforcement there as well. It's just going to be done in a more targeted approach.
Yeah.
And in fact, Trump was asked about this because I thought, ooh, is Trump good with this?
Yeah.
Is he not? But apparently this has been very unpopular because there are people who are going to ride with Trump until the wheels fall off. And I'm sure Trump felt himself that a lot of these protesters were either just being dramatic or they just wanted to abolish ICE and just wasn't on the board of what he was trying to do. But I think he's even realized himself that no, there was probably some problematic ways that we were carrying this stuff out. So here's what he said about it.
Mr. President, speaking of Minneapolis, what did you learn?
I learned that maybe we can use a little bit of a softer touch, but you still have to be tough. These are criminals. We're dealing with really hard criminals.
What's a softer touch mean though? Like I wonder how soft is he? You know what I'm saying? Like what does that necessarily mean?
What? Oh, well, naturally less. Like at one point we were saying 8 people to 1 arrest.
Yeah, true.
You're gonna have a naturally softer touch when it's just 2 officers to 1 person, you know?
Yeah.
Not only that, but like we're not gonna be following random people around and just like stopping cars and boxing them in and drawing our guns and asking for their identification. You know, that would be considered a harder touch.
Yeah.
And that's what Tom Homeman is saying. Like, we're not just going to go out and do these roving patrols anymore. But he did say, don't get it twisted. We're still doing illegal immigration enforcement. And if they are going after somebody and they realize, there's a bunch of illegal immigrants around them, however they determine that, they're not just going to be like, well, we're still leaving because they're not on our list. They're still going to be doing immigration enforcement. But yeah, they're not just going to be roving around and just grabbing people and terrorizing the city as they've been accused of doing.
So the only thing I have, the only backing, just pushback about this that I have is that there are, like we said before, bad apples inside of the bunch.
For sure.
That these folks will take it upon themselves to step over the boundaries that have been put in place by these officials and say, hey, I don't care what they say. I'm gonna do ICE how I'm gonna do ICE. You know what I mean? I'm gonna go in here and regulate how I'm gonna regulate. And that's the only thing that really scares me the most is like, you have those people that essentially will do that and will not have any regards to what the government is saying. Like, hey, y'all have to start doing it like this. We can no longer put 4 or 5 people on one person. We can no longer do that. You know what I mean? But there will be those people that go in and just say, I don't care. So yeah, you're dismantling and you're sending out 700 people back to their home states and back to this. Well, once they get back to their home states, it's almost like, all right, well, I was over in Minneapolis doing it like this over there, so we got to do it like this over here, regardless of what they say. I don't care what they say. We got to do it like this. And that's the part that really scares me because you don't have that jurisdiction to even make those calls, but I guarantee people probably will be, those bad apples will make those calls 100%.
Well, this is why I personally hope that this also sends a message to those ICE agents. Because right now, from where I sit, I can't tell if those bad apples became so rotten because of the culture. Because clearly Greg Bovino was saying things to them that had the situation what it was.
Had him hyped up.
He was in court himself accused of lying, admitted to lying in some of these interactions that he was having with protesters that got hot for really no reason. Tear gas being thrown, rocks being thrown, all this kind of stuff. So I think that Tom Homan coming in there and being like, look, we're streamlining the process. This is the one chain of command. This is what we're doing. And these are the rules. I would hope that those people went out to wherever they're going to be sent to and just take that frame of mind. Because I do see, if I was an ICE agent and I'm, I got to do this. This is the charge I've been given. This is my job. And I'm constantly just getting hate and like spit at and get stuff thrown at me and, think people are just constantly insulting me, locking me out of buildings and all this kind of stuff. I could see those people going out on the street and being like, man, bump y'all too. I'm going to be aggressive towards y'all too. I would hope that this makes all of it dial back. Like, you know what I mean? Like Greg Bovino kind of had a culture, it seems to me, that made it seem hot for both sides. I hate you. We're all just hating each other. Now it's like, okay, we're not just going to be harassing all the citizens. We're going to go in a targeted approach. We're going to get who we need to get and we're going to get out. And he said, we're going to be there as long as it takes to get down this targeted list. And that depends on how much we get heckled. You know what I mean? If you guys are blocking streets, if you guys are interfering with our investigations, then we're going to be there longer. So, I mean, it is what it is.
It is. And I don't see it really getting too worse from here on because, like I said earlier, it was a group of them all together. It almost created like a mob mindset or a gang mindset. They really thought they was untouchable because they had so many people with them. And you could see them like all ganging up in that Alex Preddy video. It was like 10 of them to one person almost, it seemed. So everybody's jumping on them. They just felt power hungry in a sense. So when they do go back and they start dispersing, they'll start realizing like, okay, I don't have as much backing as before. I got people to back me up. And also, like I said, Homeman, he seems like he has a decent head on his shoulder. I mean, I'm looking at it. It says he had a presidential rank award in 2015 under Obama. So, like, bro, he seems like he's in the straight and narrow. I don't know. I don't know what Bavino was doing.
Yeah.
But what he was doing was clearly wrong. Yeah. So Homeman, I think he's the right guy for this from here on out.
Yeah, he's about to calm things down for
Yeah.
sure. Hopefully.
Right.
Hopefully.
Also, this morning, crazy story that we really haven't covered that much, but there's now just been so many developments, you kind of can't stay away from it. NBC News anchor Savannah Guthrie's mom was taken for ransom. And she just posted a video with her siblings just kind of asking for proof that she's alive and just talking about, how devastated they are. Have you guys heard about this story?
Yeah, I've seen the. Yeah.
I heard about it today.
Yeah.
Today is the first time I heard about it.
So her mom, Nancy Guthrie, is 84 years old. She lives in Arizona, and she was last seen on Saturday around 9:30 p.m. when family dropped her off. But then people realized something might have been a little off the next day because she didn't show up for church. So if she constantly shows up for church, members of the church get a little worried. They called her family. Family called 911. And when officers showed up, they eventually realized that there were signs that she might have been taken against her will. And eventually they confirmed that, yes, it does seem that she definitely was abducted from the house. They just haven't given any details on what makes them say that. And so people have had some questions about that as well. But authorities then did just an extensive search out there. They had volunteers looking for her, K-9 units, drones, helicopters, Border Patrol was out there, the FBI was out there, and they still haven't been able to find her. What's really strange is that a couple of news outlets then got a ransom note, like TMZ and a local Arizona news affiliate got a ransom note on Tuesday morning demanding a specific amount of Bitcoin. The amount's in the millions. They didn't release how much. And the note demands that the cryptocurrency be sent to a specific Bitcoin address. And then that note also reportedly contained specific details about the house and what Nancy Guthrie would have been wearing that night, I guess to give it validity. Apparently, officials asked them not to share a lot of details from that note, so you won't see that much else about it. But on Wednesday, Savannah Guthrie and her siblings posted this really emotional video acknowledging the ransom and just, talking to their mom. And here's a piece of that.
On behalf of our family, we too have heard the reports about a ransom letter in the media. We are doing everything that we can. However, we live in a world where voices and images are easily manipulated. We need to know without a doubt that she is alive and that you have her. We want to hear from you, and we are ready to listen. Mommy, if you are hearing this, your children will not rest until we are together again.
That family is strong. Like, I wouldn't have been able to get in front of a camera and I would have been in tears. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I would have been bawling. Like that family is strong for sure.
Yeah.
My biggest question is why? I think when I see stuff like this, I always ask the question of why.
Yeah.
Like, why her mom? You know what I mean? Like, why did they choose her mom? You know what I mean? I don't know how much Savannah Guthrie makes on, NBC, but why? Why did they choose her? Like, is this a stalker situation of Savannah Guthrie? Is this a bad ex? You know what I'm saying? There's so many things to think about when it comes to stuff like this that I don't think people actually think about it. I think their first thought is, oh, it's sad. And it very much is sad. But my criminal detective mind goes, okay, why?
Yeah.
What's the backing of this? Did y'all owe somebody money?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's where my head goes. But I mean, it sucks, but
It's crazy. And honestly, that's not a bad question because I think when I first heard that, I thought this is the most random thing I've heard in a very long time.
1,000%.
You know what I mean? Because if you're going after somebody for ransom, you wouldn't necessarily just think I'm going to go after like a news anchor's mom. You might think a news anchor's child. You might think a government official's somebody, you know, a news anchor. It is very strange. And, you know, like you said, they were strong as they were reading those letters. It kind of looked a little like they scripted it out. You know, she had said something and the sister had said something, and, you know, they read from whatever paper they had there. But it was just, I mean, just devastating. And I was just thinking like, man, what if my mom, you know, you hate to think about your own parent.
And that's what I had to think about when I seen this situation. Cause it's like, I mean, we're in the entertainment industry right now. You know, we're giving news and we're doing local news. Who knows? People could listen to this. And if we say the wrong thing, if we scratch at people the wrong way or cover a story the wrong way, who knows? People could try and, I don't know, take it this far, I guess. This is what it's almost like setting a precedent. I'm kind of scared as a entertainer now. You know?
Yeah, it definitely does suck. But I do know this, and I know how the social media world works. This will be the top of TikTokers' investigation videos for like a minute. And it's not even in a sense of like they don't believe them or this, that, and the third. It's just that's how people on there are. You know what I mean? They want to see. And they want to investigate more than the investigators investigate. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I would like to see how this all unfolds. And I hope her mom gets back safely. You know what I'm saying? So
that's interesting that you mentioned that, because I also saw comments where people were very suspicious. Under this same video. If you go and look in the comments, a lot of it is overwhelming support and heartfelt prayers and whatnot. But then there's an element of people who are like, hold on, we want to look into this. This kind of looks like what's going on here. And I think that's a very natural response as well.
100%.
Because this does not happen here. I literally can't remember the last time a news anchor's anybody was kidnapped and held for ransom. You know what I mean? So of course the rumor mill is going, and there have also been theories about why this happened to her. We don't want to repeat any of them because we don't know. We don't want to spread any speculation. It's just, it is very interesting. Can tell you that there's a $2,500 reward being offered for information that leads to her recovery. She is said to have some health issues, which is kind of a piece of what we didn't have in our video there. But that basically said, you know, she's got some pain that she deals with. So the medication she uses, A, helps keep her alive, but B, helps keep her out of pain. And so, you know, when you think about that, it's just devastating. So we'll keep our eye on that, you know, for any substantial updates on that. But
$2,500 for the reward.
I was thinking the same thing.
If it was my mama,
I was thinking the same thing.
I mean, this is no judgment to Miss Savannah Guthrie or anything like that. I'm just speaking on me.
I totally agree.
If it was my mother, $2,500 wouldn't even scratch the surface.
Wouldn't scratch it.
I'm calling aunties and uncles and saying, hey, all y'all send me a $10,000. Everybody send $10,000. We're gonna put it together and try to get her back. That's me though. I'm speaking on me. Just want to let y'all know I'm not Savannah. That's what I'm speaking on myself. That's what I would do with my mother. But $2,500 just don't sound like enough to me.
You know what? I'm actually looking up right now. How much is the reward for Savannah Guthrie's mom? Maybe it increased, because when this kind of thing happens, sometimes the reward money will start off at a certain amount and then different community members will throw things in. But yeah, the reward at least as of right now, is $2,500. And to your point, like I would have put my life savings, you know what I mean? For my mom, is like, please, anybody.
We going broke for this. We going broke.
You know, it's all very, very interesting. Apparently the reward is being funded by donations from local business leaders. So yeah, I mean, I would imagine maybe, people are questioning that low reward as well. Yeah, I mean, it's something to be, that's a
normal reaction.
Yeah.
So for everybody out there that's thinking like, it's a normal reaction to think like, what could it could go this way or that way. That's just normal for a human to think that way when in circumstances like this. It could go this way, it could go this way or that way. This could be happening or this could be happening. We don't know all the things, so all we have to do is speculate. But I'm not gonna give all my speculation.
Right.
But I mean, we just speculate. So but in all the end all, we would like her home safely. We don't want to see nobody getting kidnapped and died and all that stuff.
Yeah.
We want her home safely. So Savannah, I hope your mom does get home safely for sure.
Yeah. Well, another thing that is actually happening today, there is a treaty that the United States has with Russia that expires today. This is a nuclear weapons treaty. So now everybody's wondering if we're headed for a nuclear arms race. So this is a START treaty. The new START treaty expires February 5th. This is basically what limits everybody's nuclear capabilities. It caps each side, Russia and the United States, at 1,550 deployed strategic nuclear warheads. So these are the big old country destroying ones. They're, potentially on long range missiles or bombers or submarines. And so this is basically for the first time in decades, there's not going to be any binding limit on the two biggest nuclear arsenals in the world. And it also means that they had some built-in sharing measures that will also expire. And so the stuff that they had in the treaty that mandated that they share data and have inspections so everybody could check and make sure the other wasn't secretly building up a big old nuclear arsenal has also expired. So that wasn't really going smoothly anyway, because there were always hiccups with the inspections and delays and the data sharing. And so, but it does make it so that there is none of it now unless they re-up this.
So what does that mean? What is an arms race? What is that a nuclear arms race? What does that technically mean? The first one to put it up in the air, or
no? And so this is all a very dramatic way of talking about what really just happened, because arms race, the news has to be dramatic.
Yeah.
It basically means that we have something that says we will not be making all of these nukes.
Okay.
And you guys will not be making all of these nukes. Without this, I might want to keep creating more and more nukes to make sure I have more than you.
I got you.
In case you ever do something to me, because what if you hit my nuclear arsenal and you take out 50 of them? Well, I had 100, so I got 50 more. So now I got to build up to make sure I can withstand any pressure from you if you end up shooting my stuff down, and you got to do the same thing, and both of us have to just do all this. It's honestly all nonsense.
Yeah.
Because we're talking about, again, country destroying nuclear weapons. Mm-hmm. So as soon as you fire off one nuke, a whole nuclear war pops off and the whole world is dead. That's why I think this is insane, because these are just people who have the ability to wipe countries off the map. That's crazy.
Yeah.
I want people to realize, though, I don't want people to take this and make it seem like it's about to be the end of the world because of anything like this. Because at the end of the day, rules don't really exist. This treaty was just like it's like a showcase. Like I'm saying that I'm gonna give you my word, and you're saying that you're gonna give me your word, but I don't necessarily have to listen to it. But I'm trusting that you listen to it, and that's why you put the trust in me that I listen to it. But if we wanted to take it there this whole entire time, there's nothing that was really stopping us. I mean, technically the treaty, but people break their promises all the time. People break rules all the time. So just realize, I don't think it's going to get to any point to where we're going to start, get into the point to nuclear war. And I hope they can create another treaty and stick to the words on the treaty also.
Hey, and so does the Pope. Pope weighed in and was like, please figure this out. He says, it is more urgent than ever to substitute the logic of fear and distrust with a shared ethos capable of guiding choices towards the common good, and to make peace a treasure to be cherished by all. Of course, the Pope's going to say something like that.
I like how you think that's how the Pope sound.
How did you want me to do it?
I don't know.
Why don't you give me the other rendition of the Pope?
I'm sorry.
Please. Since I ain't do it right, please.
You're right. My bad, player. My bad. If that's your Pope, that's your Pope. You know what I'm saying?
That's how the Pope, that's how I would say it. But the whole point is y'all need to figure this out. Now, it's kind of stickier than last time, because I guess before it was just the U.S. and Russia having to agree to this. And right now, the U.S. says that China should be included, and Russia says the United Kingdom and France should be included. So it's not as cut and dry. But yeah, this really doesn't mean anything. It's not like you said, it's not meaning that nuclear war is about to pop off. But to me, this says that both sides might just start wasting a ton of money for just in case.
And that's unfortunate, because it costs a lot of money to make just one nuke.
Boy,
we got an arsenal of them. We got a lot of them things. And like you said, it's like you blow up 50 of mine, but I got 100 more, and you just used 10 of yours to do it, and you only got 20 left. Oh, well, I'm gonna keep on going.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
so it can get taken there. It can get taken there.
And which is something that we've kind of been talking about with Greenland and the Golden Dome. There are also concerns that if one side builds better defenses like the Golden Dome, the other side may add more warheads just to make sure some still get through. So I wonder if maybe Russia says, we will agree to this new treaty if you give up Greenland and this Golden Dome, because if you build a Golden Dome to protect from me, then suddenly I have to start thinking, do I need to be a threat? Like, what do you plan to do to me that you feel like you need to be protecting yourself from me?
Right.
You know, it's like,
the treaty is supposed to keep you safe, right? That's what we agreeing on. The treaty is supposed to keep us safe. We're not supposed to have golden domes.
that's what I mean. It's a logical conclusion. You know what I mean? Because yeah, if you build a Golden Dome that can withstand all of the nuclear missiles in the world, then I do need to create as many as possible to make sure I still am a threat to you.
Right.
Man, are we already out of time on this here half hour? We have a lot more stories for you, to include the Epstein Files. I don't care if you're sick of it, because we got a crazy development with these Epstein Files today. Poland's people want to get to the bottom of it, even if people here in the United States do not. Those people said, yeah, we're talking about pedos.
What?
And we're not playing around with this. Wait till we tell you what the people of Poland are about to do. We also have troops in Nigeria,
Okay.
which I didn't know about. So we have so much to talk about. Do not go anywhere. We are right back after this short break. Welcome back to Hot 97 News. Hey man, Poland wants to get to the bottom of this unprecedented pedophile scandal. That's what they called it. Finally, somebody is taking the Epstein Files seriously, because this is crazy.
Out of all the people, Poland.
I mean, look, that came out of nowhere to me.
Yeah, I mean, give our Congress something, right? They got the Clintons on trial.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Right.
They claim, we'll see what happens with that. Well, actually, we'll get to that. That's funny that you mentioned that. We'll get to that in a second. So Poland's Prime Minister Donald Tusk just announced that he's opening a formal review and investigation into all the Epstein files that were just dropped to see if there are any Polish-linked victims, suspects, or leads. So here are some of his quotes from that announcement he made. He said, because this was in his language, he says, "We cannot allow that any of the cases involving abuse of Polish children by the network of pedophiles and the organizers of this satanic circle, Mr. Epstein, be treated lightly." He went on to say, more and more leads, more and more information, and more commentary in the global press all relate to the suspicion that this unprecedented pedophilia scandal was co-organized by Russian intelligence services. And he also said, "I don't need to tell you how serious the increasingly likely possibility that Russian intelligence services co-organize this operation is for the security of the Polish state." He's saying this is for our national security as well. He says this can only mean that they also possess compromising materials against many leaders still active today. He is saying what I have been waiting for literally anybody in our government to say and stand on business about, which some people have, but not in any kind of serious way.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's our government who's behind the Epstein drop, and they're censoring all the things that need to be censored, and they're not censoring and redacting things that don't need to be censored and redacted, even though we've seen names in there to and from in those emails be redacted. For what? Who are you protecting?
Right.
So I thought this was great.
So when he was saying we still have compromising things on other countries and things like that, is he kind of alleging that, we're still kind of using that as an angle? Like, if we needed to get something done, we have the intelligence over you, and maybe we can make you do something because we have these files, or we still have these files and pictures of your officials.
So not them. Can you pull up his quote again? So he's basically saying, the third one, pull up quote number 3. this can only mean that they also possess compromising materials against many leaders still active today. He's saying he believes that Russia has compromising materials against people who are in leadership right now.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So that's why he's like, we're going to look into this. In fact, he says that he wants prosecutors and security services there in Poland to quickly do a detailed file-by-file analysis of every Epstein document that's currently public. And if needed, he says that Poland's going to ask the U.S. for access to undisclosed files that could involve potential Polish victims or Polish clues.
Yeah, I mean, he's standing on business, and I like that. And actually, I wish I was in Poland so I can try to get, getting them files like them, because they probably gonna actually do the extensive research on the facts. They like, bruh, y'all probably done came over here, grabbed some of our people. We don't know that. We want to know if y'all got some of our girls over. We want to know this, and I would love to be in Poland reading through them documents, and hopefully hopefully somebody on their team puts a nice summary of 1923-page summary of what's going on in them files, bro. Because if he's saying they're reading page by page, ooh.
Now, that's the thing I do question with this. It's like, what could Poland actually expect to do with this? Are they claiming that when they do get the files, if we was to allow them access to it, are we gonna be the one, like, what would they do? What would be the repercussions that they could possibly, like,
I mean, I don't know. I think if you're Poland, if I'm literally any country, you've seen now allegations, not even allegations, you've seen the Norway crown princess said to be mentioned in there, dozens, if not hundreds of times. Mm-hmm. You've seen Andrew from the UK lose all his titles for being swept up in this as well. He's sitting here, okay, well, were any Polish children involved in this? Right. Are any Polish leaders involved in this? We're going to do some digging and make sure if we can give you guys a clue, shoot, clearly you guys need clues. Nobody's going to jail. Mm-hmm. Clearly you guys need some clues. So we're going to go file by file and look at this ourselves. I think that's great.
You know how sad it is that another country has to look over here and be like, y'all ain't doing it right. Let me get that real quick. Let me show y'all how it's done. Give me them files. Let me show y'all how it's done, because all y'all need to be in jail. Every single last one of y'all need to be in jail. And I'm going to make sure that we get it, that we make it happen. I don't know who I need to call with. I'm going to make sure I need to happen. So I respect Poland for that, bro. I respect y'all for that.
He said, the prime minister there said that Epstein appeared to have access to very large sums of money with unclear origin. Nobody knows where he got his money from. I'm sure some people know, but publicly it's not really clear. I've heard myself like 3 different stories of where he got his money from. And he claims that Epstein was working with young Russian women who were pimped out by him. So yeah, he just wants to see how far this thing goes.
Yeah.
Shoot.
I mean, I would like to see it, because I've been hearing theories about how Epstein was at one point, or could have been seen as like a spy for another country at times. And that the reason why he was getting so much money is because the countries that he was working for were sending him money so that he could extort the rich, the highest people in power out here in America. So if they was to get the files and release that would be groundbreaking news.
And see, I don't even know if they could release, if they were sent like the undisclosed ones, like what would that even mean?
That's what I'm
saying. Mark?
That's what I'm saying. Like Poland, I mean, I get that you mean well, but America ain't letting you get in there, because that's giving you too much leverage over America at that point. There's elites that we've been trying to protect here. We have people that's running the country here. We're not going to just let you get it.
At the same time, all the files were supposed to be dropped. I keep forgetting this. They're not supposed to have undisclosed files. By the law, they're supposed to have been dropped all this stuff.
All 55 million of them. 55 million pages or something like that. It's a lot of pages. All of them were supposed to be dropped, bro.
So compare that with how the U.S. president is talking about what's going on with the files. Because like you mentioned, Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton were supposed to be testifying. They were just about to hold them in contempt of court for not complying with the subpoenas to have them come in and testify. And here's what President Trump had to say about that.
It bothers me that somebody's going after Bill Clinton. See, I like Bill Clinton. I still like Bill.
What do you like about him?
I liked his behavior toward me. I thought he got me. He understood me.
The hand motions is crazy.
Hey, now hearing that, and then hearing, reading the emails of him, Bubba and all, that makes that way more funnier. Not to say that happened, but It is hilarious to hear. I like Bill Clinton. I like Bill Clinton.
He kept doing this with his hands. I like Bill Clinton. What you like about Bill Clinton? What you like about Bill Clinton, DT? What you like about him, man? I don't know. You gotta watch the body language. You gotta watch the body language. The body language tells everything.
That's hilarious, bro.
Y'all know Trump always does this with his hands.
Oh, that is hilarious, bro. That is hilarious.
Crazy. But when you side by side it, what are we talking about here? Like, one is just like, oh my God, we're talking about pedophiles. We're talking about us, like these satanic people who are accused of doing things to children. And on the other side, you got, I hate that he's going down for this, and Bill Clinton is all over the files. Mm-hmm. If we're being serious, you know what I mean? Like calling a spade here. I don't care what party these people are with. If they are in these files, they have some questions to answer. So at least Poland gets it.
Yeah. And maybe he's just trying to suck up to them before they actually go on trial, because they've been claiming that they got some hot stuff that they want to talk about when they get subpoenaed and they go on trial. So it's like one of those things where it's like maybe he's trying to suck up to them now. Have y'all seen like interviews of people asking like Trump about the Epstein Files and how defensive he gets, how angry he gets?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Quick he gets to shut it down.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't know, DT. You're in trouble.
Yeah, all of them know they're in trouble. Like, imagine, here's the funny thing. Me and my homeboy had this conversation the other day. I mean, and this is just our theory. So what if Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton, they walk into, they go to court and out walks their first gosh, what am I saying?
I don't know.
Not the evidence. The
lawyer?
Not the lawyer.
The picture?
No, the person that
it's like
not
a game show.
Not the victim. Not the victim.
Suspect?
Wait,
Golly.
repeat your sentence.
Okay,
Yeah.
so Hillary Clinton and Bill Clinton, they walk into court.
Is this
right?
the joke? Walk
And
into a bar.
No, there's not. and then my first anyway.
I'm calling my first person to the
Calling
stand.
my first person
Witness.
to the stand. My first witness to the stand.
There you go.
And then
we said witness.
I don't know. Y'all said it. Anyway, and then Jeffrey Epstein walks out, and then just like,
I'm still
surprise,
alive.
what's happening? I just want to let y'all know. Y'all thought I was been alive this whole time, just watching everybody burn. Just watch everybody burn.
You know who I have not seen in the Epstein Files?
Who?
Michael Jackson.
Oh.
Haven't seen him.
And what did they say about him? Oh, he loved little boys. Oh, he loved them.
What if they just like threw the meat over there for the dogs to go in and try to like attack Michael Jackson? I go down for Michael Jackson until y'all show me some evidence.
Flat out.
You know what I mean? And if they were going to drop anything about anybody, he is the main one who's had all these claims. I didn't see any evidence of wrongdoing.
So if evidence did come out on Michael Jackson, are you watching that movie that comes out this year?
For sure.
You still go watch it?
Yeah, 1,000%. If they did a movie about R. Kelly, I'm watching it too. Like, are you kidding me? What?
If there was actual evidence, like evidence against Michael Jackson, then it would change everything for me. Because we're talking about kids. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, to me, even R. Kelly, R. Kelly.
That's another
another
thing. Another thing.
Well, there were,
there was tapes. There was a bunch.
So, we have our eye on it because we still care. In other news, did you know that the U.S. put troops in Nigeria? I didn't know this.
I just found out because he's been kind of bouncing around it at one point in time, like 3 months ago or something like that. But I didn't know he was actually going to do it.
I didn't either. In fact, I thought it was very random when the U.S. dropped airstrikes on Nigeria on Christmas Day.
On Christmas Day.
Christmas Day.
That's wild.
So I was like, wait a minute. Now what? Did you say Merry Christmas?
Merry Christmas.
Haven't they done enough to Africa?
What?
Haven't they done enough to Africa, U.S.? Huh?
Technically, they say that the government there in Nigeria knew about it. It was in conjunction with them, so it wasn't anything shady. But this revelation that U.S. troops were even on the ground there came to light after a gunman reportedly killed like dozens of people in Nigeria. So there was this big, violent attack that hit 2 neighboring villages in western Nigeria. And basically, gunmen went in there. They stormed the area. They killed a lot of people. They set the local leadership's house on fire. And that guy, who's called the traditional rulers, basically like the king of the village of the area, he ran. Nobody knows where he is anymore. And after that, nobody really knew what was going to happen there, the number of death. That's kind of all over the place. You have local leadership there saying that there were about 30 people who died. The Red Cross somehow believes that there's 162 people who've died. So the details are kind of all over the place in that sense. But in that scenario, government in Nigeria said that the U.S. troops were on the ground and they were going to be doing kind of just information sharing and data sharing and help with intelligence and training and that kind of thing. Not that they were physically fighting anybody, but I do think that's interesting.
Yeah. I mean, well, when you look at Nigeria, though, as a whole, they have the military, but they don't have the intelligence. I've started to do more dives in like intelligence and the importance of it. The intelligence is like extremely important. Getting data on people, getting evidence on people, creating narratives on people, extremely important. And America is like really good at that. Nigeria kind of lacks that from what I've been seeing.
So what I think is interesting, though, is why we are there. Because there are a lot of places in Africa and a lot of places around the world in general who have issues because they have issues that the U.S. is there to kind of help solve. If you ask the United States, this is because Christians are being persecuted and there's a Christian genocide. What do you think about it?
It's never that simple. Y'all taught me this long time ago. It's never that simple. Do not take the first thing they tell you. I don't think so. From what I've been doing, my little digging that I've been seeing, it's not about that. A lot of it isn't even about oil for real, but it's just the fact that Nigeria is a really populated area, one of the most populated areas in Africa right now. They also have a good amount of resources, natural resources. Not that we still need and rely on them, but because of their positioning, they're kind of close to ISIS. And this is the people that they're claiming, from what I've seen at least, are the ones that's been like doing the damage in the areas in Nigeria to the Christians. But if ISIS is the ones that ends up taking over Nigeria, that could cause a whole different conflict. And then I've also been seeing, our adversaries, our number one adversaries, China, and how they implement how they move around the country. I mean, the continent over there. And we're trying to just like be cool with Nigeria in a sense. That's basically what I've been getting from it. We don't want them to be our allies, but we still want to be friendly with them.
From what I've seen, the U.S. has counterterrorism interests in that region. So whether it's ISIS or Boko Haram or just any of these groups that are out there, they don't tell us, what's really going on in the details about it all. But that's why they say, at least in part, that they're sending troops and getting involved in Nigeria in general. The whole Christian genocide thing, I don't know if that's real or not. I mean, from what I've heard, they have a lot of Muslims in the north where they were having some problems. And even people there in Nigeria will say, yes, we have a problem, but is it just the Christians being targeted? No. In fact, there are a lot of Muslims who are really getting targeted, and really people who have no religion are getting targeted. Everybody could get it out here. So just to say, it's a Christian genocide kind of oversimplifies it and makes it seem like something that it's not. At the end of the day, though, I did look up how people in Nigeria receive U.S. response here and help. And there are opposing views. So there's one view that says, hey, we welcome it. We need it. Their situation is just so bad with bandits and jihadists and kidnapping that literally any intelligence and training that we can get, we want it. Right. And that kind of aligns with what Nigeria's government has said. Other people say, we would like some cooperation, but y'all got to keep this tightly controlled. We don't want to see the U.S. come up in here with a small team and then grow and then grow and then grow and then the mission expand and expand. And they want to see rules and transparency and Nigerians staying in command of their area. And they kind of see it as a little sus when officials won't tell them like where the team is based. How long are they going to be staying? What exactly they're authorized to do. They have those kinds of questions. And other people would say, this is just totally suspicious. This is about our sovereignty, our politics, our risk. Again, we don't want people just coming up in here and just starting to give demands. If it's only about training and intelligence, why are the details always so vague? Why aren't we really getting when and where these strikes are happening? We never get any real casualty counts. Even with the airstrikes on Christmas, they said that they got a lot of terrorists, but they didn't say how many. They didn't say if there were any casualties on the civilian side. In fact, I think I saw them say that there were just either no civilian casualties or the number was just a question mark. So they're like, surely airstrikes don't have names on them.
Yeah.
So are you sure? What about the destruction? So they just have questions. So, it is interesting.
Very much so. Very much so. The Nigerian people have been also have gripes with the government there because they're not fully transparent with us too. To your point. So it's interesting. It's very interesting to follow. I don't know.
I was just wondering, how do we have all this money to go on all these countries?
Thank you. I'm glad somebody said it.
We're
I'm like,
in debt.
goodness gracious. Trump, you lied to us, dog. You lied to us, dog. Again, I did not vote for Trump, but I was here like, yo, look, if I wasn't black, I would be voted for Trump and all this other stuff. But it's like, golly, bro. I feel like a slap in the face right now because you was saying that we're going to focus on America, America, America. We're in Nigeria, Venezuela. You talking about Cuba. You talking about going to Greenland.
Iran.
It's like, bro, everywhere but here.
Make the world great again.
Make the world great.
That's what his thing was. Make the world great again, not make America great again. Make the world great again.
You know what? The Democrats honestly were accused for years of being the globalists and the New World Order and all that kind of stuff. I heard J.D. Vance in an interview talking about the New World Order being ushered in right now, like yesterday. So, I don't know what to believe anymore, but these people are clearly going to do whatever they want with your money, with your taxpayer dollars. Because let's all be clear,
with our
that's
taxpayer
what
dollars.
it is.
Right.
Our taxpayer dollars go to fund all of this instead of, roads, grocery prices, maybe housing subsidies, free healthcare, free college. That's where it goes.
What if we all just stop paying taxes? I'm not saying do it. I'm just saying, what if we all just stop paying taxes? I don't know how that would be possible, but what if we all just said, you know what? I'm not paying taxes. You go to the store, a shirt costs $19.99. That's what you give them, $19.99. All right, and then it's like, I don't pay taxes. This is what it says on the ticket. That's what I'm gonna get.
Technically, isn't that how this whole thing started? No taxation without representation.
Facts.
We're not paying no taxes anymore.
Yeah.
Technically, y'all are pushing the people to this point.
Low key.
Look, if you are not paying taxes, I don't care what they talk about. If you don't pay taxes, you're getting deported. Don't do that to yourself. Don't do that to yourself, all right? The IRS don't play.
I didn't say don't pay taxes. I said, what if we all just didn't pay taxes? I'm not saying do it. I'm saying, what if we all didn't? That's just like, what if we all, that's when people didn't go to Target or anything like that. What if we all just didn't? What if we all didn't do a lot of things? You know what I mean? This whole company and stuff everything would crumble. We all just stood on one accord and just be like, hey, I'm not doing that.
Which,
they
of
can't
course,
tell everybody no.
We can't encourage.
No.
For sure. I will still
no.
be paying taxes.
Me too.
Will we still be paying taxes? But it's a thought experiment. The fact that you have people even thinking about this, I would hope would tell the government, hey, people are upset. We've got to start figuring out our budget and our needs before we start doing all this other stuff. I would imagine that their response would be, hey, national security does concern you. We are trying to keep you safe. We are in all these countries around the world to help keep you safe. That's probably what they would say as response, and your taxpayer dollars has to go towards that effort. I would just question if diplomacy could be used instead of constant force that costs a lot of freaking money. But, we have our eye on a lot of things at this point, to include the fact that Nike is getting investigated over alleged discrimination against white workers.
You don't say.
This one caught me off guard. That's right, Lana. White people can sue for discrimination now. The Equal Employment Opportunity Commission is investigating Nike for alleged discrimination against employees. So the EEOC, if you don't know, has escalated. The EEOC is basically a group that, they're over DEI inclusion and things like that. It was created under Title VII of the Civil Rights Act in 1964, and it prohibits workplace discrimination. It was created during the Civil Rights Movement, and Trump hired a lady. Her name is Andrea Lucas, and this is what she's saying. She's supposed to be the head of the EEOC right now. This is what she's saying.
Are you a white male who's experienced discrimination at work based on your race or sex? You may have a claim to recover money under federal civil rights laws. contact the EOC as soon as possible. The EOC is committed to identifying, attacking, and eliminating all forms of race and sex discrimination, including against white male applicants and employees.
Oh my God. White people want to be oppressed so bad. Why do y'all want to be oppressed so bad? It's not fun. It's not fun to be oppressed, bro. Like, what?
Yeah, so now they can sue. They have the ability to sue. They have a lady in charge of the task force that's willing to escalate these things. So the EEOC has escalated its inquiry into Nike by asking a federal court to enforce a subpoena seeking additional documents. So there was a group there. So what they're alleging is that there are people, white people, that was trying to work for Nike, didn't get hired, and they say they didn't get hired because DEI related goals that Nike had implemented at one point. So what do y'all think? Do you think that white people could get discriminated against?
No.
I actually think that they might have a case.
No.
I'm not gonna lie to you guys.
No.
I'm not gonna lie to you
Lana,
guys.
they got you.
I'm not saying what should happen. I'm saying what actually might happen. Because what they're saying happened with DEI is that because there were quotas of you need to have this many minority people, there may have been a candidate that was better than the minority candidate that was in the queue, but they had to pull so many minorities that people who deserved the position based on qualifications alone missed out on it because of DEI. So they're saying, shoot, if this happened to you, you could get some shmoney. I don't know, because if they were in a situation where that was what the federal government told them to do, how can you then be held liable when that was what the rule and the regulation was? And of course, the rule and the regulation was to make sure that black people could actually get employed and weren't constantly looked over. So, I mean, I get it. I am curious where that goes, actually.
Be more qualified. How about that? Be more qualified. Because that's what they used to tell us. That's what they used to tell us. Why don't you just be qualified? Maybe if you were just more qualified, you would act. It's not DEI. You're not getting hired because you're black. You're not getting hired because you're not qualified enough. Be more qualified.
Because how you
get a degree.
You'd literally have to prove that the black person or woman or Asian, Hispanic, whoever the minority was less qualified.
Yes.
Like, how would you prove that? Because who's to say? I've worked with people my whole life where I'm like, how did you get this
How'd you
job?
get the job?
What were your qualifications? That happens all the time. So how could you be sure that, they just got it just because they're black or just because they're Hispanic or Asian or a woman? Because white women apply to this as well. White women made off really well with DEI, to be honest.
For sure.
Because they were considered the hire that was obligatory for DEI purposes, and they were still white. So they did make off very well with DEI, I will say.
I don't know. I think, like you said, it's more of a thing of history. Like, we've already missed out on so many jobs because there wasn't DEI. It's like, it's reparations, and it's not even just helping. It's not even just helping black people. This is helping the Mexican community, the Latino community, the Asian community. Well, actually, I've heard stats that it actually hurt the Asian community. I don't know. I'm going to do some more research on it. But Nike said that they've tried to provide thousands of pages of documents for the subpoena action, and they're basically trying to work through this whole lawsuit right now. So.
Okay. Well, hey, before we go, we teased yesterday about the ballroom. These are the new pictures of the White House ballroom that are being constructed right now. It went from $200 million to $400 million, not paid for by taxpayer money, but just by very generous people, cough, cough, that just wanted to donate $400 million. There are lawsuits saying, y'all can't do this. This is way too expansive. Trump says, yes, I can. Presidents have always done sorts of renovations like these. So, it's a conversation for another day, because we do have to go to commercial break, and we have a lot of Atlanta stories coming at you after the break.